On August 8, 2019, around 11:30 am, Saurabh Gupta arrived at the house of Dr. Deepak Gupta in the Mohalla near Rasulpur of Firozabad. Saurabh Gupta was very close friends with Dr. Deepak, which is why he came to meet him at his home. When Saurabh reached Dr. Deepak's house, he had a smile on his lips. As usual, there were sounds of people in the street where Dr. Gupta's house was located, and everyone was busy with their own tasks. After that, Saurabh knocked on the door of Dr. Deepak Gupta's house, but no one answered, nor was there any sound from inside. Concerned, Saurabh gently pushed the door, which suddenly opened. Saurabh saw Dr. Deepak's 2-year-old son, Divit, standing inside the door. Saurabh noticed that both Divit's hands and clothes were stained with blood, and there was complete silence in the house. However, as soon as Saurabh went inside due to a sense of foreboding, he was horrified by the scene before him. Dr. Deepak's 70-year-old mother, Shivdevi, was lying dead in front of him. In his shock, when Saurabh looked into the room, he saw the blood-soaked body of Dr. Deepak's elder brother, Dr. Amit's 35-year-old wife, Rani Gupta. Blood was scattered all around. The sight made Saurabh's heart race, and he screamed in terror. In the meantime, the 2-year-old innocent Divit had exited through the house's door. Nearby, there was a bangle factory where people were working. Rani Gupta, who was sitting at the bangle warehouse, noticed Divit and, seeing the blood on his hands and clothes, thought the child might have fallen and gotten hurt. He picked up Divit and started looking for his injuries, but just then, Saurabh came running out of the house, shouting. His commotion attracted the nearby people. Those gathered outside Dr. Gupta's house assumed that perhaps the culprits had fled to the roof after committing the murders. Due to this suspicion, some people went up to the house's roof with sticks and rods, but they found no one there, as this house belonged to the renowned pediatrician Dr. L.K. Gupta, where his third brother, Dr. Deepak Gupta, lived with his wife, Deepti Gupta, and their son, and his second brother, Amit Gupta, lived with his wife, Rani, and mother, Shivdevi. Dr. L.K. Gupta lived in the same city in the Mohalla Basti with his family and elderly father, Dr. Ved Prakash. Therefore, Saurabh called to inform Dr. Deepak Gupta and his elder brother, Dr. L.K. Gupta, about the incident. He also tried to report the incident to the in-charge of the Rasulpur police station, but his phone was turned off. After that, he called the emergency number 100, but even after dialing several times, the call was not received. Finally, he informed SSP Sachindra Patel about the incident. Shortly after, SSP Sachindra Patel arrived at the crime scene around 12 p.m., along with SP Prabal Pratap Singh and a police team. Meanwhile, when Dr. L.K. Gupta and his wife, Dr. Nita Gupta, received the tragic news, they were seeing patients at the medical college in Firozabad. They rushed to their family home with great urgency. Soon, other family members also arrived. After that, the police sealed the crime scene to prevent any tampering with the evidence. Considering the seriousness of the case, SSP Sachindra Patel also called in a forensic team to the scene. News of this daylight double murder spread quickly throughout the area, and a large crowd gathered at the crime scene. Seeing the growing anger of the people, police officials had to call in forces from other police stations in the district, in addition to the Firozabad police stations, due to fears of an untoward incident. Meanwhile, Colorado Dr. Arun Kumar Singh and co Sanjay Verma also reached the crime scene. After that, when police officials examined both bodies, they found that both women had been brutally murdered by slitting their throats. Rani's body lay in the room, and near her body was a hammer and a knife. The body of her mother-in-law, Shivdevi, was lying at her feet, with her legs extending into the courtyard outside the room. During the investigation, it was revealed that both the mother and daughter-in-law had fought hard to defend themselves from the murderer, as both had cut necks and showed multiple signs of injury on their bodies. From the condition of the crime scene, it appeared that Rani was murdered first while her mother-in-law, Shivdevi, was upstairs in the upper room. Blood was also found on the drainage pipe near the iron grill on the upper floor. The police speculated that first, a blow was struck to Shivdevi's head with the hammer, and then she was dragged downstairs, where her throat was also slit. Blood was splattered all around the house. In the lower room, the wardrobe near the bed was open, and all its contents were scattered. In the upper part of the house, the wardrobe in the room on the left side of the stairs was also broken, with its contents strewn about. However, in the second room, only the handle of the wardrobe was broken, indicating an attempt had been made to open it, but the murderer had failed. After that, the forensic team collected fingerprints and other evidence from the wardrobe and other locations. Family members reported that in the upper part of the house lived the younger brother, Deepak Gupta, while in the lower part lived the second brother, Amit Gupta, along with his wife Rani, daughter Riya, and son Ashu. At the time of the incident, all the children except Deepak's son Divit had gone to school. After this incident, all the children were called back from school. Although the police station was only a short distance from the crime scene, the police still arrived hours later. Furthermore, no dog squad team was called to search for the murderers, leading local residents to inform the local MLA, Manish Ahuja. He was in Lucknow that day, but informed the Home Secretary and DGP upon learning of the incident. After the matter reached the DGP, Ig Satish Ganesh arrived at the crime scene around 2:15 p.m. with a dog squad team. However, by then, hundreds of people had already come and gone from that alley and the crime scene, so the tracking dog could not provide any leads on the murderer. There was anger among the people regarding the fact that the police station was merely 300 meters from the crime scene, yet the police took half an hour to arrive after being notified. SSP Sachindra Patel assured the enraged crowd that the gruesome murder would be solved quickly. This is a case from the Rasulpur police station area, where we received information around 11:15 and that 2 women had been murdered. When we arrived at the crime scene, we found the bodies of an elderly woman and her daughter-in-law, and they were likely murdered with a sharp weapon. We have found important clues in this entire incident, and we hope to make arrests soon. Significant facts have come to our attention. We are reviewing some CCTV footage, but we do not wish to share it at this time. However, we will soon disclose the details of the incident. After the investigations by the dog squad and forensic team were completed, the police sent both bodies to the district hospital for post-mortem examinations. SSP Sachindra Patel ordered the police to check the railway station, roadways bus stand, and private bus stand, keeping in mind the possibility of the murderers fleeing the city. It appeared that the culprits who carried out this incident had complete knowledge of the house, knowing who lived there in the morning, because the deceased Rani's daughter Riya was in the 10th grade and her son Ashu was in the 8th grade, and thus both had gone to school early on Thursday. Dr. Deepak Gupta was at the health center in Ramnagar, while Rani Gupta's husband, Amit Gupta, had gone to school at 9:30 am to drop off their 2 children's lunch boxes. After that, he also went to his pathology lab. At the time of the incident, Rani was at home with her mother-in-law, Shivdevi, and Dr. Deepak Gupta's 2-year-old son, Divit. During the investigation, the family told the police that furniture was being made to open a beauty parlor in the outer room of the house. The furniture was being made by a carpenter named Deepa, who had been working on it for the past 2 months. He was familiar with all the family members, so the police began to suspect the carpenter. After this, the police examined the CCTV cameras installed in 3 houses around the crime scene. In 2 footage from the CCTV, a suspicious person was seen. In one footage, the person was shown entering Dr. Gupta's house through the main gate at 10:37 am. Later, at 10:55 am, the person was seen exiting from the gate of the outer room, where the beauty parlor was being set up. During the investigation, blood was also found on the latch of that gate, which made it clear that the person had exited through that gate just 18 minutes after committing 2 murders. This suspicious person could be Dilip, also known as Deepa, who lived nearby, near the Rasulpur tank. During the investigation, the police learned that the deceased, Rani, had opened a beauty parlor named Tip Top in the outer room of her house. To open the beauty parlor, Rani had first convinced her family and then completed a beautician course. The inauguration of the beauty parlor had taken place 2 days before the incident, on August 6th, and the furniture for this beauty parlor was made by carpenter Dilip. Although Rani's dream of opening the beauty parlor had come true, just 2 days later, a cruel murderer had taken her life. Meanwhile, innocent Divit was left with Dr. Deepti, his aunt, while she went to her duty, so throughout the day, he played with and amused his grandmother and aunt. However, after the incident, the 2-year-old child, Vidit, became extremely sad. Sometimes he would stare blankly, and at other times, he would start crying loudly. The horrific sight of his grandmother and aunt's murder was etched in his eyes. As Carpenter Dilip came under suspicion, the police reached his house at 2 p.m. They inquired about Dilip from his wife, Rani. After this, Rani spoke to her husband on the mobile phone in front of the police, and he claimed that he was working in Asifabad at that time. After that, Dilip's mobile phone was switched off. The police waited outside his house all night, but he did not return home. After the postmortem on the evening of August 8th, both bodies were handed over to their relatives, and their last rites were performed that very night. On the morning of August 9th, around 4:30 am, the police received a tip-off that Dilip was planning to flee on a motorcycle. Following this, the police surrounded him at the major intersection in Fatehabad. When encircled from all sides, Dilip began firing at the police. In the retaliatory firing by the police, Dilip was shot in the leg and fell there. The police arrested him, but during this encounter, Constable Kanhaiya Lal, who was stationed at the Sonpur police station, was also injured by Dilip's gunfire. Afterward, when the police searched Dilip, they recovered a pistol, stolen gold necklaces, rings, and several other ornaments from him. Following strict interrogation, the story behind this double murder case shocked the police. In fact, 25-year-old Dilip, also known as Deepa, revealed that while making furniture for the beauty parlor, one day, the elder daughter-in-law, Rani Gupta, slapped him in front of the laborers over a trivial matter and insulted him. Dilip swallowed his humiliation but decided on that very day that he would take revenge for this insult. On the day of the incident, he entered Dr. Deepak Gupta's house under the pretext of looking for a hammer he had dropped. That day, he was consumed by rage. Dilip stated that upon entering the house, he told Rani, "Madam, I came to retrieve my hammer." Rani replied, "See where you left your hammer." After this, he followed Rani into the room and slit her throat with a knife he had brought along. Hearing her scream, Shivdevi, who was coming down from the upper floor, saw this scene and attempted to shout to save her daughter-in-law. Following this, Dilip also slit Shivdevi's throat, killing her. 2-year-old David was also present there, but Dilip felt affection for him because he was innocent, so he spared his life. Afterward, he stole cash and jewelry kept in the cupboards and exited through the gate of the room where the beauty parlor was being set up. During the struggle for survival by Rani and her mother-in-law, one of Dilip's fingers was also cut. After carrying out this incident, Dilip went to a clinic near his shop to get his finger bandaged. Living in a rented house with his wife, Rani, and 2 children, Dilip had left for his shop on Thursday morning, but suddenly the urge for revenge for the slap from Rani arose in him, and in just 18 minutes, he executed this crime. After committing this double murder, Deepa returned to the crime scene shortly after and removed his shirt to blend in with the angry crowd. In the meantime, he also observed the police investigation. During this time, when many people took photos and videos of the crime scene on their mobile phones, Dilip was seen standing in those photos and videos. However, when his photo went viral on social media, people began to identify him. But by then, Dilip had already fled after dropping his 2 children home from school. The police admitted the injured murder suspect, Dilip, and Constable Kanhaiya Lal to the medical college in Firozabad for treatment. After treatment by noon, the police filed charges against Dilip for murder and robbery, as well as for firing at the police, and presented him in court, where he was sent to jail. Thus, blinded by the fire of revenge, Dilip, also known as Deepa, mercilessly murdered Rani Gupta and her mother-in-law, Shivdevi, to take revenge for his humiliation. Even if Rani Gupta had slapped him out of annoyance over something, he could have understood that she was older than him, but Dilip took this matter to heart. Before carrying out this incident, he never thought about his children's and wife's future, what would happen to his family if he was caught and imprisoned. Friends, the purpose of recounting this incident is not to hurt anyone's feelings or to trouble anyone, but to raise awareness and caution you. Friends, what are your thoughts on this entire incident? Please do share in the comment box, and if you liked our efforts, please like and share this video. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Thank you.